live to share this training on the identity shift required to scale to 100K months. This training was inspired by a very recent event that happened in my own business. And it prompted me to sort of think, yeah, I'd like to do this training because I've done this before, but it was timely to do it again. A gorgeous woman became a client of mine in January, and she started on a payment plan. She came out of nowhere, very unexpected. I didn't even know that she was following me, and anyway, she became a client, and she'd never made more than $5,000 in a month, and in her first month she made $15,000 in sales, right? And this was huge. It was huge for her, and she had some wobbles along the way, and but it was nonetheless an incredible achievement on her part, right? But then, she went on to default on her second payment. Now, I'm not here to make, obviously I'm going to keep her situation confidential, but I just wanted to share what actually happened because it's really interesting, the identity piece that's part of this story, right? She defaulted on her second payment and removed herself from my mastermind, right? From the Facebook group, my paid Facebook group. And when I checked in on her, because I was genuinely concerned, she said she couldn't afford to pay me because she had another commitment for the money that she'd made. And look, and I truly believed her, and I really wanted to help her. And I sort of said, it's okay that the payment's going to be late. I'd still like to help you because I can see the potential. And she has subsequently ghosted me since, right? And the reason that I'm sharing this is because I know she's going through a really difficult time, and I really, really want to help her. And I offered her more time. And on reflection, I know she is in sabotage, right? This is sabotage because she has a story, she has a belief of not feeling worthy because she has a history of breaking commitments. Interestingly, right? And I won't go into any more details because, this sort of stuff doesn't just happen to, it's not a unique thing, right? I see this all the time. The sabotage that comes after a huge success, and especially when there's trauma involved. And I know there's some healing that needs to happen, and some healing did happen in January, but more healing needs to happen, obviously, because you can't just have one session and fix a lifetime of beliefs and problems that you have. But I feel sad because I know she'll continue on this with this story and this situation, and she will continue to sabotage herself because she does not feel deserving of success, right? And that is it's I hope she'll watch this. And I'll hope she'll realize, because I promise you this is not about the money. I don't care about the money at all. And but I thought it was really, interesting what happened. And I really thought this is an identity, right? This is an identity that she can't let go of. And it prompted this training for today. Ladies, I have a multi-7-figure business offline, right? And a multi-6-figure business online here in this coaching space. And that didn't happen by accident, right? That did not happen by accident. It would not have been possible if I remained the person who I used to be. But before I go into this training and really get into the nitty-gritty details of this identity shift and all the things, let me just quickly introduce myself to those of you who are new to my world. I'm Anne Ryan. I'm a business mentor and a mindset coach, and I help my clients who are coaches, consultants, consultants and course creators to package and position their value into a high ticket offer so they can earn more and work less by keeping business simple, and having all the impact that they truly desire. So if you want to build a simple, scalable and sustainable coaching business that you absolutely love, then drop a hashtag support or send me a private DM. I would just love to have a conversation with you to see if we're a good fit, to see if my mastermind's a good fit for you. Otherwise, you will walk away with some insights no matter what, right? So I'm not a high pressure salesman, so it's all good. So let me ask you a question as we dive into this training. Who do you identify as today? We all have an identity, right? So who do you identify as today? A wife, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a friend, an entrepreneur. Perhaps you're still working, right? So maybe it's an employee, whether you like it or not, these titles or labels that we give ourselves form part of our identity, just a part of it, right? Now, when we delve deeper and look at you as the entrepreneur, the coach, the business owner, whatever title you give yourself, now who do you identify as, right? The title aside, who do you identify as? Do you identify as a success, or do you feel like a failure? Do you identify as being consistent, or do you feel like you're always inconsistent? Are you the best kept secret? Are you the underdog? I've been the underdog, in the past. Are you the quiet achiever? Are you the overachiever? Are you ambitious? Are you a workaholic? Again, I identify with being a workaholic as well from my past, right? That's a past identity of mine, the workaholic. And these identities are sometimes not even like these trainings like today is going to help you to bring these identities to the forefront, right? So you are really, really incredibly aware. Now think back to your childhood. Think back to the time between your childhood and even now, right? Like this client that I shared about at the beginning of this call, she's had certain experiences in her life that have resulted in the identity she's hanging on to today, which is absolutely not serving her because she can't let go of that. She's not doing the work to let go of that. And so when you think back to your childhood, were you considered to be outspoken and loud or naughty or quiet or shy? Because these are the kinds of titles that we're given, right? From well-meaning parents and family and friends and teachers and the school and all the things, right? Were you considered a risk taker? Did you see yourself as a risk taker? I know I did, and I still do, right? I hold on to that identity of being a risk taker, but I've put a positive spin on it because I back myself. That's my positive spin on it. But the fact is, I'm a risk taker, right? Are you bold? Are you courageous? Or, do you consider yourself to be a bit more fearful, a bit more timid because of the labels that you were given as a child, perhaps, or the experiences that you've had, even in your adult life? Do you consider yourself, were you considered reliable, dependable, or do you feel like you let people down or you let yourself down? All of these form your identity, right? Back when you were at school and when it came to sports, were you seen as a winner or did you feel like a loser? For example, were you the first person to be picked for the sports team? You know how, I don't know if in your school, but in my school, the teacher would sort of say, right, we're going to form two teams. You two will be the team leaders and you get to pick who's going to be on your team. Were you the first to be picked or were you the last to be picked, right? All of this forms our identity. Were we popular? Did we see ourselves as being, attractive or not? What did people think and say and all the things, right? All of this forms our identity. Did we see ourselves as being the nerdy academic type, or were we seen as the cool, smart one? All of this, I'm kind of, I know I'm kind of going on about this, but this is super important to really reflect on this and realize all of this has accumulated all these different titles and experiences and feelings and things that people have said and have accumulated to form the identity that we are today, right? And if we don't let go of the ones that are not serving us, they will stop us. They will stop us. And there are things that we can do to shift this, right? And I'm going to be going into that. We've all experienced difficult times, and truly there's no judgment, but we need to acknowledge these things, and we need to bring it to the forefront of our minds and really increase our awareness of these things, because these are the things that are impacting us and holding us back, right? They absolutely will. There are so many people that need services like yours, Victory, because to be honest, that's not my area of expertise at all. It is not. I have a team member who's very experienced and qualified in some sort of, some deep subconscious type work, but we don't necessarily go into that trauma sort of space, right? And there are so many entrepreneurs that don't even realize that they're still dealing with past traumas, and they're not doing that work, and then they continue to sabotage again and again and again and again. This is the thing, we do get labels put on us because well-meaning people say they have no idea of the impact these labels have, right? And I'm guilty of it too, and we all do it, and it's just increasing our awareness around how those labels are impacting us today, and whether they're in fact having an impact on us today. So, and this is not intended for anything other than to increase awareness, right? There's absolutely no judgment. This is about reflecting back to the past and also who you perceive yourself as being today, because this all forms your identity, and whether you are consciously aware of it or not, it is impacting how you show up every single day, right? We all have thoughts about ourselves that range from positive thoughts through to negative thoughts, right? At different times, and I'm sure some of these will sound familiar as well, right? Because we have some great traits that we're proud of. For example, I'm consistent, I'm always on time. Those are kind of traits of mine, and we have great skills that we possess. For example, we might perceive ourselves as being really good at copywriting when it comes to business, or we're really good at sales when it comes to business, or we're really good at, whatever it is, fill in the blank, So because that's kind of a skills-based thing. Then, we also have these insecurities, right? Insecurities that we obsess over, for example, I'm just not good at video, because if you feel, if you feel insecure on camera, right, then you're going to feel like you're just not good on video, right? Or, some people just don't feel, they have insecurities about connection, that they're just not really good with maybe connection in Messenger, because it takes a particular skill, right, to have that to be able to connect in that way in Messenger. And and then we have deficiencies that we worry about, right? Like maybe it's a lack of motivation or a lack of commitment, right? Now, when you add all of those things together, they become your personal identity. Your traits, your skills, your insecurities, your deficiencies, they all form part of your personal identity and the way you think about yourself. And here's the thing about the way you think about yourself, because this is really very powerful. Do you want to know why? I'll tell you, because this is why you're here in this training, right? It's because the way you think about yourself, right, and the way you identify determine your belief system. Yeah. And the belief system is actually, let me take that back. Yeah. The way you identify determines your belief system, and your belief system is what determines your thoughts. Yeah. And your thoughts determine the actions or behavior that you take every single day. And of course, depending on those actions and the behaviors, that's what determines the results that you see in your life and in your business. Yeah. And that is that's what makes or breaks the 100K months, or the 7-figure income, or the 6-figure income, or whatever it is that you truly desire. So when your identity is out of alignment with your actual goal, and we're talking business here, so your business goal, you're never going to take the actions needed to achieve those goals, because there's a misalignment, right? Is this making sense? Labels are so limiting. They're so incredibly limiting, yeah. But we're in a society that just gives labels. That gives so many labels to so many people. Yeah. In business, in life, in all the situations. Yeah. And I really worry about this because I have a son who's got sort of severe mental health challenges, and he has so many labels attached: anxiety, borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder. It doesn't stop, and it's awful. It's awful because, it's good that he's been diagnosed so he can get the support, but it's not good because this is now his identity, that he's a broken person. Yeah. And it's really hard as a parent to actually watch that and to try as a coach. I don't coach my children, but to kind of help him to see he's way more than that. He's way more than the labels that he's been. But this is incredibly powerful stuff, right? The labels that we give ourselves and the labels that other people give us. And the stories attached to those labels as well. So I hope this is making sense. So how do we fix this, right? How do we make the shift, and can we change our identity? And the answer is yes. Yes, we can. Yeah. But the desire has to be strong. We have to want something in order to change. Yeah. We don't have to hold on to the identity of even who we used to be growing up, for sure, because that was such a long time ago. And even who we were yesterday. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter who we were this morning when we woke up. It's who we want to be now and who we want to become as we move forward. Yeah, that's all that matters. And it is entirely in our hand. It is entirely in our hand. And I learned some really, really valuable lessons about this along the way. And a lot of the lessons, obviously, I learned on reflection, right? And I didn't even know it at the time. So I am going to be getting into that right now. The lessons I learned on my journey to 100K months and the tips that I'm going to share today are the things that can change your identity, right? And you can absolutely achieve everything that you desire. And they're going to sound really simple because everything that I talk about is super simple, right? But I will guarantee you that the reason you haven't yet achieved the level of success that you truly desire is because you are still holding on to an old identity. Yeah. So let's get into some practical things. And this first one that I'm going to share, I know you've heard this before, but I'm gonna say it again. Yeah, you've heard this before, but you need to hear it again. The 5 people you spend the most time with are the most influential people on your identity. Yeah, you've heard that saying, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Yeah. So my question is, how close are you to the type of people you want to be like? So let's say you want to be a 7-figure entrepreneur. How many 7-figure entrepreneurs are you hanging around with? Let's say you want to become a 6-figure entrepreneur. How many 6-figure entrepreneurs are you hanging around with, right? The number doesn't matter, but are you hanging around with people who are going to help you to get to where you want to be, right? Now, this training is about the identity shift required to reach a particular financial goal, right? So this is why I'm bringing it back to money. I'm not talking about other areas of life, yeah? So if your goal is 100K months, for example, how many 100K month earners are amongst the 5 people you spend the most time? Who you spend your time with absolutely matter, because you need to model your behaviors around the type of people you want to be like, right? And this is not about copying, by the way. This is absolutely not about copying. And this is not just about being, this concept of proximity and, it's like just being in their energy is enough. This is different, right? This is about making it a part of your day-to-day life and routine, yeah? Because whatever current bad habits or behaviors you may have, do you think they are the behaviors and the habits of the people who've achieved what you desire, the 100K month? Let's just use that as an example because that was in the title, yeah? And I'm not for a moment suggesting I'm perfect, by the way. I achieved 100K months without perfection. I became a, multi-7-figure business owner without perfection, right? This is not about perfection, but this is about that kind of having that awareness about your habits and your behaviors, yeah? So I've snoozed my alarm sometimes, and I've watched a lot of Netflix also at times, yeah? So they're not behaviors and habits that, all successful entrepreneurs have. And I've done it, right? I'm not perfect, but I'm also, when I'm on, I'm on. When I'm going for something, I'm going for something, yeah? When I'm consistent, I'm consistent, yeah? And I'm continuing to invest and to work, to any deficiencies that I have and insecurities that I have, I'm working on them to get better, right? Not striving for perfection, but I'm working on it. And I continue to spend time with other 7-figure business owners because I think it's, I want to be inspired by them. Yeah, I invest in masterminds, I invest to be in high level containers where other multiple 7-figure business owners are going to be in, and not because I need more strategy, because I don't. I know the strategy. I have my own strategy and it works really well. That's not why I'm there, but I want to be amongst them, right? And they're striving for more, they're ambitious, they're driven, they're doing things that I'm not doing, that I want to be inspired to do, right? And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that inspiration. I'm looking for that kind of the drive and ambition when I don't have it, yeah, on those days, because no one's perfect and there are days when we all have our wobbles, right? So my question is, how much time are you spending with people who absolutely inspire you and raise your standards? Yeah, raise your standards. Like if you were to put it down to a percentage, 100%, 50%, 20%, 80%, what would you say? Let me know, because this is like a really important piece. If you're hanging around with people who are on struggle street all the time, then that is not going to help your cause in order to up level, right? And I don't mean that in a horrible way at all, because I know there are people around us who are struggling all the time. And it doesn't mean we can't support them and care for them and love them and, be there for them. But if they are the only people that we're hanging around with, it's going to be really, really difficult for us to shift our identity to match this more kind of to match the elevated, successful person that we want to be and become. Yeah, I hope this is making sense. All right, so moving on. The second thing to consider is, if you truly want to shift your identity, you want to help yourself to gain momentum, you can do this by breaking big goals that you might have down into really small actions. Yeah. You've all heard the saying, how do you eat an elephant? And it's taking lots of small bites. Yeah. I think I butchered that saying. I don't even know what that saying is, but I think you know what I'm talking about, right? And by doing this, you can start making progress almost immediately, right? And really acknowledge all the wins, document them and acknowledge and celebrate all the little wins along the way. Because if you are so focused on the $1 million, on the $100,000 or whatever, and you're not kind of like celebrating the first client and the first person that comes and watches your Facebook Live, or the first sales call that you book, or the first 10K month, and the first 20K month, and the first 30K month, and all those in between kind of milestones, then you're not gonna, you're gonna really struggle if you're just waiting for the big celebration, right? Because every time you check off an action, every time you achieve a little thing, whether it's growing your audience, whether it's doing a Facebook Live, whatever it might be, you're creating your identity as someone who does what you say you're going to do. That's what we're looking for, right? Integrity, commitment, yeah. Commit to yourself, like be in integrity with yourself, yeah. So every time you do this, your brain, and you start shifting your identity little by little. It happens, yeah. And you wake up when your alarm goes off. You go to the gym when you say you will. Start with the small things, right? And allow yourself to feel good and celebrate those small things, because they all count, yeah. The thing is, gorgeous ladies, all these things sound so easy and so simple, yeah. And I may not be using all the examples that impact your life. Going to the gym may not be an issue for you. Waking up when the alarm goes off may not be an issue for you. Watching too much Netflix may not be an issue for you. But whatever the issues are, whatever the things that you let yourself down on, yeah, whether it is writing a post every day, or doing a Facebook Live, or reaching out and connecting with your audience, or sending out an email, or whatever stage you are in business, right? Whether it is the sabotage that follows every time you hit that 20K month or 30K month, yeah, whatever it is, you kind of need to change that behavior, right? Because otherwise you don't get the shift that's required. So I'm using some basic examples, but whatever it is, because there is a behavior that happens, and you just need to know what it is, and you've got to change that because something happened. Yeah. So my question to you is, how much certainty, yeah, and belief and confidence do you have in yourself today? Again, look at it as a percentage, like 100% confidence, 100% self-belief, 100% certainty, or is it 20%, 50%, 80%? What is it? Yeah. If it's not a high number, it's okay. It's actually not the end of the world. It really isn't, right? But these little simple things that I'm suggesting to you, like surround yourself with the right people, commit to taking little bits of action, and really make that commitment and celebrate every single time you actually follow through and take the action. All these things will help you to increase that certainty number, yeah, that confidence number. So it might sound really simple, and you're like, yeah, sure, Anne, how's that going to help me to get to 100K months? You won't get to 100K months unless you do these little things and you shift the perception and the beliefs that you have about who you are and, of yourself. So, because we can't keep holding on to the identity of the person that we were, right? Because that's not going to help us to get to where we want to be, yeah? We can't do what we've always done and expect a different result. You've heard that, yeah? So it's the same thing when it comes to identity. It's exactly the same thing, yeah? All right, so I saw 90%, but some moments 20%. Nicolette, you're human, right? We all have these human moments, and yeah, of course we have wobbles. Yeah, but that awareness is still good as long as we can increase the amount of time that we spend in the 90% and reduce the amount of time we spend in the 20%, or at least have some strategies in place to be able to shift from the 20% back up to the 90%, then, we're winning. Yeah. And so it's super, super important. All right. The third thing that I would suggest is work on your confidence every single day. Yeah. This, like, I am not the most confident person in the world. I'm not. I really am not. But I work on my confidence every day in little things that I do every day. Yeah. We all have so much more potential than we ever use. Yeah. But some of us crumble under pressure. Yeah. And we give up. We give up too easily, or whatever it might be. Yeah. Or worse still, we don't even try. Yeah. Because we're so afraid we don't even start. We're waiting for that right moment, or for the right opportunity, or for something to be, some magical moment to happen. Yeah. And in the meantime, don't take action. When you have confidence, you act boldly to achieve your dreams. Yeah. Self-doubt or lack of confidence is the number one killer of most dreams. Yeah. It's the number one killer of most dreams. So this is like, it's working on your confidence. Not everyone is, superwoman and always confident, right? And this is just really, really important to be really aware of, and kind of look at the little areas that you can shift and change. So I'm going to share some very specific examples with you as well. Commit to doing something daily, right? Maybe it's a Facebook Live. Maybe it's going to the gym. Maybe it's writing a post. Maybe it's connecting with 5 people. Whatever it is that's going to help you and your business, make a commitment, right? It's unbelievable how much this will shift your identity and give you incredible confidence. Yeah. Because a lot of your identity comes from lack of self-belief. Yeah. Change the way you dress. Yeah. That's something that can hugely help too. Yeah. Whether it is wearing bolder colors, or wearing, really dressing up for your work day, or wearing makeup or heels, or whatever it might be, it can immediately help you to shift your identity and make you more confident. Yeah, immediately. Like some people, put on red lipstick, and that's an example of it. Yeah. Then you take on a new persona, and I've talked about this in another training too. And watch your self-talk. Yeah, you become what you think. We all become what we think. Yeah. And we need to really observe the thoughts running through our brain and shift the beliefs behind those thoughts. There's always a belief behind the thought. So it's not just about stop thinking that. Well, what is the belief that we have that needs to change? There's a belief behind the reason why we can't be successful, or we haven't achieved success yet, or why we can't make 10K tomorrow, or why we can't have 100K month in March, or whatever it might be, right? There's a belief, and you can choose to shift that belief. And when you shift that belief, your thoughts will change. You will start thinking better thoughts. Yeah, so it starts there. So it's really important to observe what's going on in your head, and then go back to the belief behind those thoughts and change it. Yeah, change it. The fourth thing is visualization. Yeah, this can be incredibly effective to shift our identity. Yeah, so if you can close your eyes and visualize where you want to be at the end of 2023, maybe. Because we sometimes overestimate everything that's possible in a day and completely underestimate what's possible in a year, right? And I know we're moving into March. We've got 10 months left now in the year, and it's still so possible to achieve a lot. So visualize, close your eyes, and see where, see yourself at the end of 2023, and see your future self having achieved everything that you desire. I mean, look at, what are you wearing? Where are you living? What are you doing? What are the people around you saying? Go really deep into this visualization. Even though it's a visualization, use all your senses to tap into the future you. Not just the visual, but your sense of smell and taste and touch and all the things. Feel the feelings, right, of having achieved everything that you desire. Huge, huge. When you can see and touch and feel and hear and know that it's possible and what's coming, how you show up every day and the actions that you take and the things that you do will blow your mind. Yeah. Because what the mind can see, it can achieve. I don't know if I said that saying right. There's a saying around it, but you know what I mean. All right. Number 5, role play. Yeah. And I know this might sound a little bit strange, but practice. Practice what you're not yet good at to build your confidence. Yeah. Whatever it is you have to get better at, practice. If it's Facebook Lives, practice doing Facebook Lives. You don't have to do it in front of a huge audience. Just create a group, a private group, and practice in there and watch yourself again and again, or just go and do a Zoom recording and just watch yourself and get better at it. You know, and then if you're brave enough, ask people for some feedback and for some tips on how you could maybe improve something. Yeah. Get better at things that you don't feel confident at. Same for sale. Role plays can be a hugely effective way to get better at selling. It may sound old school, it still works. It still works. If you sell on calls or in Messenger or whatever, you've got to figure out how to get better at it. Yeah. Practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. So I'd love to know how you're going to shift your identity and change your situation. The inner work alone, however, is not enough. Yeah, but there is a lot of inner work that needs to be done side by side alongside doing the strategy and taking the action, right? So take at least one thing and consistently apply it in your life or business, you know, and start shifting your identity. I can almost guarantee you, honestly, I would guarantee you, if you haven't yet reached your goals or desires, it is because of the identity you are hanging on to that no longer serves you. Yeah, it just no longer serves you. It feels safe, it feels comfortable, but it no longer serves you, right? And no amount of strategy on its own will work if you don't do the inner work. I feel so much resistance, right, to doing some of this myself. It's not like something I go, ooh, I can't wait to work on myself and do this inner work and do the, you know, it's not like that. It's like a practice for me. It's a practice that I make myself do because I know how powerful it is. Yeah. Because, you know, there've been times when I've not wanted to do this work because, you know, I've seen it as a bit of a waste of time, and I've sort of gone, you know, I can't see how it's moving the needle forward. I just want the strategy. I just need the strategy. That's what I need. It's the strategy that's missing. And that way of thinking is exactly what holds a lot of people back, right? But don't get me wrong. There is a balance. A balance. The inner work alone won't get you to 100k months. Absolutely not, right? The strategy is also equally important. Yeah. If you've been in business for a while and you've made some money but haven't yet reached the heights that you really truly desire, and you are ready to step into your higher self and do the strategy work and the mindset work to build a simple, scalable, and sustainable business you love, I would love to speak to you. A client that started working with me just before Christmas had a 100k month in January and an 80k in February. You know, another client, Tamika, who I've shared a case study interview with, she started working with me sort of mid to end of November, and she's had incredible success month after month after month. And again, she's finished off really well. I think it's 48,000 for February. Don't quote me on that. Somewhere close to that. I'm pretty sure it is actually. So, you know, it doesn't take a long time to get results, right? Mind you, these people were already earning some money. Yeah, so it takes a little bit longer if you're a little bit earlier in the journey, but it's a 12-month container. That's why I work with my clients for 12 months, because there's so much, like so many of my clients, 70% of my clients make their ROI in the first month. Yeah, but I continue to work with them because there's so much more that we can achieve, because we wobble so much more along the way as well, right? the sabotage kicks in, the resistance kicks in, and all the other things happen, and what was working suddenly stops working. And that's why a 12-month journey is the perfect amount of time for us to navigate all these things and really create a solid foundation. So if you'd like to explore what working with me looks like, drop a #support below. Otherwise, send me a private DM, or I will love you and leave you to enjoy the rest of your day or evening wherever you are in the world. I appreciate you so much, and I look forward to seeing you on the internet very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.